Hi YouTube. So I want to do another video kind of talking about how I paid off my 3D printer in a couple months. My process is a little bit different than other people's where they kind of, like print like those articulating things, and those are, kind of cool and all. And I don't want to use the word junk because that has such like a negative connotation. People like them and stuff, but I didn't want to go that route. So I wanted to do my own designs. I do sell some things that other people do as well, but I try to mostly do my own designs. I use the software called FreeCAD to design my items, and it's mostly like shapes that you use versus like Blender is another like big one, and that uses more. You kind of think of it like clay, where you're like molding your item, as opposed to me that I use calipers and shapes and stuff. And I've designed different things. Like this is my best-selling item. It's just a standard clip for cameras for trucks, cars. It slides into the headliner. You mount your camera. Super cool. I didn't think there was anybody else selling these quite like this, and I like to think because of all my sales, people think so too. With that, I've designed this other version, which I'm gonna do another video on, just talking about like customer service and stuff, and other little things like this. Standard rectangle with the circle. I made this to hold my glasses from my fiber laser. You can see here. You need to use special glasses with these, or else you can damage your eyes. And I kept misplacing them, so I made this a little bit of double-sided tape, stick it on there, and that way it helps me not misplace them because I have a home. This is another item, for example, that I did. When I have a Vevor hat press for hats, I laser cut like the designs and whatnot, and I press them on with the hat press. When you buy it, it comes with 3 or 4 of these pads for different size hats, and they're kind of loose, they're kind of just always in the way. So I made this with 3D modeling, and this screws to like the top of something like shelving units is what I do, and it just slides into place and keeps them out of the way. And this took me a little bit to get the sizing right. I think I sold like 1 or 2. So not everything is a winner, but like this, I've sold 200 of these, stuff like that. This is something else that I did. Not super functional, but cool. For people who don't know, this is the Sharingan eye from Naruto. It's like one of the animes, and it's a camera lens mount. I have a Sony camera, and this kind of screws on there as opposed to like a standard one that's just a Sony. I think it's cool. I don't think I've sold any. I've had these listed for like 2-3 weeks now. I haven't sold any. I have different designs. I like a Master Roshi one that I think is cool, a Pokemon one and stuff. But yeah, that's the way I've gone about it, and I think it's been a pretty good process. If I were to start over, I'd probably do the same thing. I know some people make a ton of money doing like the articulating stuff and like the subscription stuff, where like you pay somebody else for their designs. But in my eyes, if everybody's selling the same thing, it's kind of hard to keep that going like in the long term. I feel like this is the best way to do, and this is what I would recommend if I were to start over again. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. But that's kind of like my thoughts on this, kind of what I do, and what I recommend you do too, because you never know what's gonna be like the next $1 million idea. There's always issues to things, and if nobody's ran into it, you might be the first person to do it, and that's how you make a bunch of money. Or at least that's how I think so. So whenever I have like a new like big purchase that I do, I always try to think of like what's a good accessory that nobody else sells that you might be able to come up with and offer it. But yeah, find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Any questions, let me know. Thank you.